the message will be like this. As we know with Jamie, it's not that easy. You know, a season can be classed as a very good season, and then all of a sudden after 2 games, 2 bad results, you know, we can question your season, and I think this is where they are. Massive game against Paris. I'm not sure many people will count them, you know, to go there and win. If there's a team that can actually do it, is them, because what we've seen, you know, over the years is when they are on the front foot and very aggressive in their opponent's face. You know, I've seen them play against City one-on-one at the back, you know, and very, you know, much aggressive. So if they can bring this to Paris, of course they have a chance. But if they play like we've seen them today in the last few games, then I think there's a concern, because there's a lack of energy, intensity. Of course, the desire to win is there, but you know, at this level, you need to do more than this.
The title is long gone, but have they given themselves a problem at the back end of this season, failing to beat Brentford at home, failing to beat Palace at home, and now losing to Bournemouth? Because games that they could have probably dismissed,
of course,
with second place in the bag, now they can't.
Of course, obviously it's just a picture and it's just a big screen, but if you look at the next few games, you wouldn't argue to the fact that I'm going to tell you City can finish second in front of Arsenal if you look at the fixtures. And this is the situation they found themselves in. You know, you lose the game in Paris, the spirit is down, and then who knows what's next. So this game should have been a given at home. I'm pretty sure the fan would have wanted the 3 points, but you need to do more than that. You know, of course you're going to create chances. I've heard Mikel saying that they open, you know, their opponent today, they create chances. Is it enough? It's not just enough to do. You have to kill and you have to win games.
Jamie, if Newcastle have got these 2 games before Brighton away, Chelsea home, before Arsenal go to Anfield, and then it's Newcastle against Arsenal.
So, yeah, in other words, if
they win those 2 games,
yeah, they win all their games, they finish above Arsenal.
Yeah. So you know, second place. How big of a deal is it for Arsenal to say we've been runners-up in the last 3 seasons?
I think it's huge for them now. What you don't want at this stage of the season is it for it to unravel and end up being a really disappointing season. I think if they finish second, they can turn around, you know, get into semi-final of the Champions League. They maybe, you know, they can take that as a lot of positives, but not finishing second when Manchester City have been so far off it, but maybe they could creep ahead of you. And Newcastle, who have been, you know, fantastic, really, they won the Carabao Cup as well, but you just don't want that. That just sends the wrong message going into next season, and it's not the end of it you want. You know, they've been at times brilliant. I think about the moment in Bernabeu when they played, you know, Real Madrid over 2 legs. They've somehow got to find that spirit again when they go to PSG on Wednesday night, and that's why it's such a huge season for them, a huge game for them. Because if they were to lose, then these other games become really hard. The Newcastle one, there'll be a little bit of, you know, not the feeling that you want, the positive feeling that Gail was talking about at that home game. So they've got to make sure they get a good result on Wednesday night, which is going to be, it's going to be a cauldron. It's going to be very difficult for them. They've got to find it within themselves to get something.
And this Jamie Redknapp, the former Bournemouth player, Jamie Redknapp. Do you think that's a big shot in the arm then in terms of this push for Europe? Now with 3 games to go.
Yeah, they had a difficult period where they lost a few games, drew a few games, but every single time I watched them, even when they lost, they were still magnificent. The way that they played, they performed. A couple of things went against them, even last week against Manchester United. You know, they 1-0 up, even Nielsen gets a red card. But the way they reacted today, and they obviously made really good substitutions. Semenyo came on and we felt that he had a real impact on the game, but we found out that he's got the longest throw we've ever seen. But that helps, you know. But all the things they do it so well. They lose the ball, they go and chase it really quickly. I like the way that Brentford, I like the way that Bournemouth play. You know, they're different in their approach. They know that they sometimes can't outplay teams, but I tell you what they do, they outwork most of them.
Did you notice